Here we go again with part 2.
Panzer Dragoon Saga. The game we've had a saving jar for since the beginning of time.
And we never ended up buying it.
No, because it kept increasing in price.
Yeah.
And it just seemed unwise.
Yeah.
To spend $1,000 on this game. Got kind of a loud washing machine, don't we?
Load game from internal RAM. It's 28 minutes, so. Alright, so that's the save point.
Well, we made it out of that giant hole. Who is this?
Listen.
Taicho! 生きてたのか。よく無事で。隊長、早く行け。奴らは谷に沿って北へ向かってる。あの男、クレイメンたちを追え、本物の帝国軍が来る前に。
クレイメン？誰なんです、そいつは。それに、なんで追わなきゃならないんです。
帝国の特務部隊、黒い艦隊を率いる男の話を聞いたことがある。おそらくは奴が。ここを見れば。帝国は俺たちを疑う。あの発掘物を奪回する以外、お前の生き延びる方法はない。胸のポケット。そうだ。
隊長。隊長？隊長？くそ！クレイメンめ！
So I think they literally just took the Japanese language and just put a twist on it. About the gauge. During battle, your attacks are dependent on this gauge. This gauge charges on its own, and you can charge up to 3 gauges at one time. Anytime more than one gauge is charged, you can open the battle menu. Certain actions require more than one gauge to be charged. Homing laser, the dragon's normal attack requires only 1 gauge to fire. So let's fire laser. Oh, that's sweet. The gun, Edge's normal attack, also requires only 1 gauge to fire, best used on individual enemies. Use an item requires 1 full gauge. To use an item, open the battle menu and select items. Use the D-pad to highlight the items and press C. Elixir Miner. Berserk techniques. Using berserk techniques, the dragon's special attacks varies according to the type, 1 to 3 gauges. Scorching sphere of fire, holy sphere.
That was extreme.
Yeah, it was. Actions may be taken at any time as long as the required gauges are charged. Unused portions of the gauge are not lost. You may perform an action as soon as the required gauges are charged, or wait and deliver a series of actions. This is so cool. Because I'm a huge fan of the other Panzer Dragoon games, and this is just like turn-based, but not really. It's kind of like Final Fantasy III real-time. So that's cool. Positioning 1, enemies attack. Baldor. Although not displayed, enemies have gauges as well. Each enemy's gauge charges at a different speed. Most enemy actions differ depending on where your dragon is located when the enemy attacks. The battle radar shows where your dragon is located in reflection to the enemy. The enemy will always appear in the center. The colors on the battle radar indicate danger levels of your enemy's attack. For example, if your dragon remains in an uncolored area, the enemy will only use weak attacks. To evade danger, your dragon can move to the front, back, left, or right of any enemy. This is called positioning. Positioning can be done by moving left or right in 90-degree turns. Positioning does not drain the gauge, so you can move at any time, but no charging occurs while positioning. A green area means that the enemy cannot attack in that direction. Therefore, this area is a temporary safe zone. Oh, I see. A red area means the enemy will deliver heavy damage if it attacks. If you can avoid the red area and stay in the green area, victory will be yours. Keep in mind that while positioning the gauge will not increase, so the more time you spend moving around, the worse your ranking will be. So neat. Such a different RPG. Players attack. An enemy's defensive abilities vary according to which direction you attack from. Attacking weaker areas will cause more damage. This enemy has an average defense rating from the front. Attack here and it will suffer average damage. Move to its right. I had to twist my body. Fire laser. The defensive rating on this side, left or right, is high, so attacking here causes little damage. To inflict heavy damage, aim for the enemy's weak spot. This area is marked weak.
It's got weak bends.
They do have weak. There are also enemies that counterattack and or dodge attacks from certain directions, or even enemies vulnerable from only one direction. As you can see, positioning is vital to dodging attacks and fighting effectively. Mastering this technique is key to ensuring your survival. Already super impressed just because of how different the combat is. Types of attacks and effects. Homing lasers. The dragon's normal attack shoots multiple lasers. The number of lasers shot at once is limited. The lasers will only target the closest enemies, so although lasers can inflict more damage than edge gun, you cannot aim at a distant enemy. Lasers prove ineffective, however, against optic resistant enemies. If you aim at an optic resistant enemy, anti-laser will be displayed. Gun. Edge's normal attack. Use the D-pad to aim the sight at a specific enemy. You can concentrate your attack on the weakness or a single enemy. It is ineffective, however, against physically resistant enemies. If you aim at these type of enemies, anti-shot will be displayed. Anti-laser. Berserk. The dragon's special attacks and enemy's defensive rating is nullified by this type of an attack. It proves to be most effective against enemies with high defensive ratings and large groups of weaker foes. Some techniques heal your dragon. Each berserk technique consumes a given amount of berserk points or BP. If you do not have the required BP, you cannot use the technique. Shafts of light from above. You do not have enough BP. Oh, because it costs 30. Alright. And this I have 28 BP, so this costs 25.
Nice. It's a good group attack.
Yeah, it is. Effective varies according to type. Attack, deadly to nearby enemies. Spiritual affects all enemies. Agility, swarms small groups. And defense, healing, and shield. Selections are made by command icons, but laser and gun attacks can be made with a single button press. Abnormal status attack. There are certain enemies that can use special attacks to create abnormal conditions in your dragon's status. On the radar, the red area indicates not only a high risk of greater physical damage, but the potential of special attacks. Homing mine. Stun. The dragon was hit with a special attack that paralyzed it. The status of your dragon is displayed here in the status. Stun. When your dragon is paralyzed, it cannot fire lasers or use its berserk technique. Your dragon can only reposition itself. Beware that only the dragon's status is affected. Using items and guns are Edge's actions, so these can be performed regardless of status. Revive gets rid of status? Okay. Interesting. Status eventually returns to normal over time, but you may use an item to restore status sooner. Here are the abnormal conditions other than stun. There is poison, continues loss of life. Slow, gauge charges slowly. Stop, dragon cannot move. Pain, defensive power decreased. Bind, only first gauge charges. Let's see, Berserk class. There are 6 total Berserk classes, 4 are earned through experience, and the remaining 2 are hidden. There's the Attack class, affects all enemies, delivering heavy damage to enemies nearby, but little damage to distant enemies. These spells are obtained by reaching a predetermined level. Spiritual class, affects all enemies, inflicting full damage regardless of distance. These spells cause the same amount of damage to all attacking enemies, very effective against groups. These spells are obtained simply by reaching a predetermined level. Defense class, regain HP and cast shield spells. Healing spells can be cast with only 1 gauge full. These spells are obtained by reaching a predetermined level. Agility class, affects multiple enemies and retreats from battle. Delivers the same number of attack regardless of the number of enemies, effective against smaller groups. These spells are obtained by reaching a predetermined level. Full gauge class and extra classes are the other 2. Attacks and combinations. An enemy's gauge can fill while you are moving your dragon. In this scenario, the enemy will attack as soon as you finish moving. If you press A button while positioning your dragon, the action will initiate before your enemy's attack. This is called beating them to the punch. You can do this while an enemy or player is moving or attacking. When the gauges are full, if you want to perform attacks in combination, initiate any action and immediately press A button to perform another action. Learn this technique well, and you will not only defeat enemies quickly, but will also prevent them from attacking. Evaluation. When you win a battle, you will receive one of 5 ranks. The higher your rank, the more experience points you'll receive. Your rank is based on how fast you defeat your enemies and how little damage you take. Here are the rankings. Excellent, highest rank, full experience points may also find an item. Great fight. Second highest rank, good experience points may also find an item. Good fight. Third highest rank, average experience points. Close call. Fourth rank, only a minimal amount of experience points. Narrow escape. Lowest rank, only a minimal amount of experience points. Imperial piece of crap.
I was wondering if I read that right. Imperial piece of crap.
Elixir. Free action. I don't know how to access the map, so I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be going.
Whoa. You got rid of one really fast.
Aww.
Why?
Because I was too slow. And I probably moved way too much. That's probably supposed to kill them all within like one shot. I wasn't sure how. Diney's chirps.
Dingus chip.
Dingus chip. Here we go. It's been a long time since I've been like wishing for random encounters. How do I access my menu? I'm just gonna accept those close calls because I'm still learning.
Well, they aren't narrow escapes.
That's true.
Or whatever the worst one is.
Field map. There we go. Yeah,
You got your map now.
Yeah, narrow escape is the worst one. Nando drill. I mean, what drill? Last check.
Goodness. See that thing go
I
flying?
did see that thing go flying.
Whoa.
I can't destroy it. Dragon lasers are too weak. I'll come back later. Oh, so we can destroy him later.
Blowing up mine carts.
しまった。構成生物よけの風網か。
Well, look at there. Perfect timing, too.
You're so thoughtful. That was a fun tutorial.
Yeah, it was. I'm very excited to play more of this game.